Hi guys, happy February 1st. Today I'm going to be quickly talking to you about what happened a few days ago, which I don't think is actually being talked enough in the media. I think what's happened with the recent shooting in Quebec and with Donald Trump being Donald Trump, it's taken away from this bit of news that's happened with us in BC, which I think is very important for the housing market. So a few days ago, the Premier, Christy Clark, announced that she would be repealing part of the 15% foreign buyer tax that she introduced August 2nd of last year. So backing up, last year, August 2nd, the Premier introduced, kind of on a whim, 15% tax for any foreigner buying property in Greater Vancouver. So I always thought the tax was unfair, especially with the way it was implemented. Basically, if you had done a deal, if you had bought a condo or a house and you're a foreigner in June or July and you don't take possession until August 15th, September 1st, whatever the case, you thought you had the price locked down. Well, basically, when she had announced that tax, that 15% tax would apply to your purchase, even though it was done, sold from before that date. So it was a really unfair way of implementing that tax. A lot of people were walking away from deals, and it caused a lot of chaos and stuff. So, anyways, she's now said that I have it on good authority that she's been getting a lot of pressure from the infotech sector. They're having trouble filling jobs, highly skilled jobs that require a certain level of training, which typically would come from overseas. And these people don't want to come here anymore because of this tax. So what's happened is the infotech sector has been putting a lot of pressure on the Premier and the Finance Minister to get qualified work here, and the only way that they could do that was they've now lifted the 15% ban on anybody with a work permit here. So I think that's super important. A lot of people just kind of gloss over it, but as of last year, there was 65,000 people, foreigners, that have work permits. So it's 65,000 people that are now eligible to buy a property here on work permits and not have to pay that 15% tax that they've had to pay for the last 6 months. So again, the tax was implemented really, really strangely, really quickly. I don't think it was very, very well thought out. It's really unfair to the people that have now purchased and paid that tax in the last 6 months that may have been eligible to not pay it now. So the whole thing seems kind of backwards to me, but it is an important piece of information because I do think that this will again fuel the detached housing market, which has stalled a little bit. I think that removing this ban will fuel that market again. So I think that we will start seeing that market pick up. I think it's probably good news. I don't think that this tax was a very good tax. Anyways, it was meant to make housing more affordable for locals, for us locals, right? I talk to millennials every day, and since this tax was implemented, it is not cheaper for them to buy a house. So even since this tax, 6 months ago, it was too expensive to buy a house. Is it any cheaper to buy a house now? If you're in your mid-20s, late 20s, early 30s, it's not. So all this tax did was stalled the market. It made buyers not want to buy, put fear and hesitation into the market. Sellers aren't selling for low prices. They're just not. Buyers aren't buying here. Or foreign buyers are going to Toronto and Seattle. So what it did was it created a divide between buyers and sellers, and nobody's budging. And it just cooled detached house sales. That's all it did, but it didn't technically lower prices. So again, it's not cheap to buy a house here still, even with this tax. So I'm glad that she's getting rid of a portion of it. I think not enough is being said of. She's kind of putting a positive spin on it, saying that we welcome people from different countries. If they want to work here and pay taxes here, you don't have to pay this tax. I think what she's doing is a bit of a 180. No one's really saying, hey, this tax was flawed from the start. Now you're kind of putting your tail between your legs. Not a political thing, nothing against Christy Clark. I'm going to keep the politics out of this blog, but I think not enough is being said about how she kind of did a 180 and just basically realized that this tax wasn't working. It's not working. It's hurting our industries. It's hurting skilled people coming here. It's hurting the people. Another way of thinking of it is if you have a grandparent that's alive and lives in a big house and wants to downsize and leave some money for the kids, for their grandkids, the millennials, the people that want to buy a house. Now their houses aren't selling because of this tax. So really, realistically, if that house could have sold, maybe that grandmother or grandfather leaves their grandkids some money, and now they can purchase a house. So in effect, this tax actually kind of did opposite of what it was intended to do. Anyways, that's just a quick catch up. Like I said, I didn't think a lot of people were talking enough about it. I think it's really important. I think it's a big thing, and I think it's going to really spark the detached housing market. So if you have any questions, concerns, comments, anything, please email me, text me, call me, and I will get back to you. Thanks, and have a great day.